All right, everybody. This is the crowdsourcing, advertising business panel. I'm Mike Martoccia. I've been involved in the industry for quite some time, since about 2008, and I've just watched a lot of these companies kind of come around, and to be what they are today, it's fantastic. I think, as we go through and hear about each one of the panels, we'll start with Epi first. Epi, can you go through and introduce yourself? And
my name is Epi. I'm the founder and CEO of Ludvik and Partners. We're an advertising agency built on crowdsourcing principles, and one of our models, the way how we do things, we kind of create new advertising agencies as the new projects come in. So that's how we work.
Great, thanks, Epi. Rob.
Rob Salvatore from Tongal. We are a creative social platform based on the principles of crowdsourcing. The way we do it is through stages, through phases. So concepting first, then followed up by some sort of production, video, or animation. Open to all. That would maybe a point of differentiation from some of the others.
Randy Corke, Chaordix. We work with large companies, enterprises, organizations, nonprofits to help them engage their different crowds, whether they're internal crowd like employees or external crowd like their customers or the general public. We're a little bit different from most of the companies here in that we don't necessarily focus on advertising, but we do work with companies for things that relate directly to advertising, such as brand development and market research and co-creation of new products and services and messaging around that. So what we kind of do is crowdsource a lot of information that flows into what companies work with you guys for.
John Andrews from Collective Bias. We are a social shopper marketing company based in Bentonville, Arkansas. Our model is based on a proprietary network called Social Fabric that features 1,100 of some of the most highly connected people in social media today, and we use that model to drive insights, connection, and social conversation, connecting brands and retailers.
Claudia Batten. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Victors and Spoils. Shock horror, we're an advertising agency based on the principles of crowdsourcing. We're aimed at Fortune 500 clients, trying to bring the ideation, creative ideation, and mass ideation from crowdsourcing to Fortune 500 companies by smoothing out some of the bulk aspects of crowdsourcing and applying heavy curation over the top of what we're getting from our crowd of over 5,000 creative professionals in our database.
I'm James Sherrett. I'm the founder and CEO of AdHack, and we work mostly with advertising agencies to help them tap into the power of crowdsourcing. And I'll give you a couple of examples. We worked with Crispin Porter-Bogusky on the launch of Windows 7, where they wanted to essentially source video creative hundreds and hundreds of assets at once, and needed to do that in a really short timeline. And so we organized 52 different video creation teams across North America to be able to deliver that in about a month for that campaign launch. So that's an example of the kind of stuff that we do with agencies.
My name is Matt Mickiewicz. I'm the co-founder of 99 Designs, which was started in 2008. We're one of the largest and original marketplaces for crowdsourced graphic design, mainly focused on assets such as logos, business cards, brochure design, primarily for small businesses and entrepreneurs. We've certainly had a number of really big brands tap into our community. We have over 105,000 designers registered on our marketplace, and they're generating a new design every 5 seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's an amazing volume.
Wow. Peter LaMotte of GeniusRocket. For 3 years, we were a contest site that did logos, web design, videos, and only about a year ago switched over to what we call curated crowdsourcing. So we vet our community. People apply to be part of our community. It's a much smaller community of established, experienced professional production companies around the globe. We're focused almost solely on video content, primarily TV and web. And it's done through an iterative process of concept to storyboard and then into production. So it's heavily based on crowdsourcing on the front end with almost an agency feel on the second half of it. And through that process, we're able to do pretty amazing content for really a fraction of what the traditional agency charges.
Great, thanks everybody. Now just real quick, show of hands, feel free to vote twice, because there's both of you guys here. Are you a platform or an agency? We'll do a platform first. How many people here are just the platform? Okay, so a little bit over half. And then how many here are just agency?
Mostly agency.
Mostly. Halfway between, okay.
And I'm going to sit in the middle of that one.
Depends what they ask for.
That's a good question. I mean, are you guys more or less working as agents for, as an agency in most cases for your clients? Pete?
For us, I mean, Rob and I were talking about the Tongal model and as it relates to victors and spoils, and we've dealt in a very what looks like, smells like, walks like an agency, looking for video content. It's when they go beyond and they're looking for media buying, when they're going for some of the more diverse levels of what a full agency can bring, much like victors and spoils does to the full extent. That's when it starts to lose form. But yeah, when they know exactly what they want, and it's related to video, yeah, we're doing a lot of what those agencies want.
I think there's an element too where you need a platform to do what we're doing. We've got a lot of people that we're communicating with, from 5,000 to 500,000. So we need, we're all going to need some element of platform in there to coordinate and communicate with that group of people. But on top of that, yeah, for us, we're an ad agency. We look, smell, feel like an ad agency to our clients.
Mike, I think it's, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's indicative of kind of what's going on with the agency model today, is everybody kind of struggled with how do you answer that question. And I think the model is in flux, right? So if you think about what an agency is and does, that's going to change substantially over the next 10 years as media just fundamentally, reinvents itself. So I think you see evidence of that in everybody that's sitting on the stage.
And I think the other thing too is like the industry is young and emergent, and so we've all tried to sort of find what the right balance is between platform and product orientation and agency and more service orientation. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and I would just add that on the kind of more platform side of things, that's not to say that there's no service there and or creative oversight. We take the position of more giving guidance and what works best. Yeah. How to motivate our community, and then let the sponsor, the brand, the organization curate it, whereas these guys are doing, some of the others are doing the curation themselves.
That's a good point. You brought up curation of content, allowing the client to do it versus that of, taking on the work and doing it yourself. I mean, how much of the panel up here, do the direct curation of content or let the crowd, be managed by the client themselves? Is most of everybody?
Direct. I mean,
direct.
We're helping the client select the right work for them based on their creative brief.
Yeah, we're 100% curating, largely because of our focus. We're dealing with Fortune 500 clients who just don't have the time. They want the breadth of ideation. They want the breadth of ideas coming through. They want to get that level of market accuracy. I've been stealing that term, by the way, Randy, for a while now. It's a good term.
Nice footnote.
They want those elements. It's really important for them in their marketing and their advertising. They want to hear what people have to say about their brand, but they just don't have the time or resource to go through all of the ideas that are coming through, nor ensure that the ideas are taken to the level that they need to be. So a lot of the work we're doing is what we call curation. We came out of the gate doing that, realizing that you needed to apply this level of creative development on top of what was coming raw from the crowd for our clients.
Got it. So when you're dealing with the crowd and you're rolling in a lot of these conceptual ideas and stuff like that, do you guys have like leaders within that space that help kind of guide the direction and say, yes, that's good, or it's not good, some kind of professional opinion, or is it the client?
We have an in-house team.
Okay.
In our case, it's up to the client just because of the huge volume of projects that we do. Yeah. We do have a select level of service for certain customers who can have some hand-holding and account management through the process, but the vast majority, 90-95%, do it themselves, which has its pros and cons.
Yeah, and our clients want like a single point of contact that they can trust to keep the project on time, on schedule, all those things, and is a great communicator as well. So oftentimes the creative talent aren't great communicators, aren't great process people, and they're kind of bored by the process, really. So
yeah, especially I guess when you have a platform, web formats like 99 Designs GeniusRocket in the sense that where you kind of there is curation from the client side compared to on your side as well. So in our sense, we were the one that we kind of taking that role and like connecting with the crowd. That's
Collective bias leaders are actually the community members themselves. So a great example is Rachel Ferrucci, who's in the audience today, has led several programs that on campaigns that she actually works on. So I think it gives an authenticity of voice that I'm never going to be able to match. Anybody in my team's not going to be able to match, and it gives us a sound kind of a sounding board of does this pass muster with the people who are the real professionals in this space, who are the content creators.
Yeah, we've been doing that as well, trying to elevate people within the crowd. I think it's really interesting to look at crowdsourcing also as a digital workforce and really trying to elevate people who are succeeding and doing well, ranking them and moving them up to new levels so they can take on new responsibilities and lead projects, I think is a really important part of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the emergence of reputation within the communities.
Sure.
And to provide those feedback loops for the right people who really earn different privileges, different abilities, different rewards, all kinds of stuff. So
Right.
different priority.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just curious because we don't do that, and we found that because we now that we're curating our community, have a much smaller community. Back in the days when we would say, we've got 15,000 people, that it's like, well, now you've got a sheriff badge. Like we weren't sure that because they're saying to us like sheriff badge is great, but I'd rather have the $20,000.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we were at a previous crowdsourcing event, we had all these panelists of people that were from the communities, and everyone said, what's your motivator? And everyone's like money. It's like we just want money. We want a job. We want money.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry that I'm asking these questions,
it's a
but
good
I'm just
question.
curious for you guys that do have the gamification. Do you see a difference in performance of like motivation?
I don't think it's gamification. That's not what we're doing. We're literally trying to create a workplace online, so people are getting promoted effectively. And one of the things we do is once you get promoted out of a certain level, you do get a payment for doing a set upfront payment for what you're doing because you've proven yourself, you've proven your capability, and we need these people. We need people guiding the conversation and guiding the work. So
We found we had to move to the standpoint where we wouldn't ask anybody to work for free because we wanted people who were professionals and we wanted people who were committed to doing the work and we wanted people who were a certain level of quality, and so we never asked people to work for free.
Oh, so do you vet your community?
Yep.
Does everybody here vet their own community?
No, we rank. We don't vet.
We vet.
We create custom communities for each client, really.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I think it's the in the other side. Money. It's motivator, but it's also the independence and some of the okay. Here's something that I didn't really have a chance to really have hands on, and this is something exciting that it really makes me show something that this is how I can do it. So
There's an intrinsic value. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's about where you are in your personal career development as well. So for us, it's open. We probably have we probably have a younger demographic. I was just telling a story back there about how a first-year film school student from USC just won one of our big competitions, and that's the money is obviously a motivator. Don't get me wrong, but I think for her it's great too in terms of the exposure. So and in terms of ranking, we have a leaderboard and they care about it. So I think status in our community really does matter. We've had several requests recently where people are part of groups and they were previously independent, and they're saying, can we combine our totals and stuff, which to me signals that they're figuring it out, they're playing the game, and they see, maybe they'll graduate through it to some other platform or some other job. Yeah.
Part of the art of building a community or crowd is that you don't want it to be too open because you don't want people who really don't have the skills or knowledge involved. But you don't want to close it down too much because you don't want to exclude people that could add value. And part of the cool thing about crowdsourcing is you never know where that breakthrough idea, that seed of the breakthrough idea is going to come from. So you don't want to close it down too much, right? But you do need some arbiters in there to make sure that things go well.
Well, the experiment